And during our meetings today, we are also discussing the situation in eastern Ukraine. As I have said many times, the fastest way to truly resolve the conflict is through the full implementation of the Minsk agreements. Now, there should be no doubt about what that requires. A real, enforceable ceasefire on the contact line. Unfettered OSCE access to all of Donbass, including the border. The return of all hostages. Free and fair elections in Donbass that meet the OSCE standards and accord with Ukraine's constitution. The withdrawal of all foreign weapons and forces, and ultimately the return of Ukrainian sovereignty along its internationally recognized border. To be crystal clear, Ukraine is making a good faith effort to implement Minsk. There's no doubt in my mind about that. It has begun the process of granting special status and amnesty and decentralizing political power. And it is committed to do more as the security conditions allow. And today, I informed President Poroshenko that the United States will provide nearly $23 million in additional immediate humanitarian assistance to help thousands of vulnerable people who are affected by the ongoing conflict in eastern Ukraine. But without real security in the Donbass, an end to the bloodshed on the contact line, the use of heavy weapons, blockading of OSCE access, without that, Minsk is doomed to fail. Now, this was President Obama's message to President Putin in their phone call just yesterday, as they talked very frankly about the steps that are needed to be taken in order to move the process forward. And President Putin indicated that he does have a desire to try to see this process move forward, as does President Obama. And so we are hopeful that in the days ahead, that we will in fact be able to translate those expressions of hope in words in a telephone call into real actions that will make a difference. In Warsaw, the United States will continue our work with Germany and France in order to chart a course with President Poroshenko and his team to ensure that the level of security necessary to be able to allow for elections and the other political aspects of Minsk are able to go forward. So make no mistake, if Russia chooses the path of de-escalation and full implementation of Minsk, the international community, all of us, will welcome it. And we pledge to work very closely with President Poroshenko to make sure that his government and Ukraine is doing all in its power to live up to its responsibilities. If Russia does not move in the direction of embracing that possibility and de-escalating, then the sanctions will remain in place. The same is true with respect to Crimea. From the very beginning of the conflict, the very beginning of Russia's move to Crimea, the United States has said consistently that we do not and we will not recognize Russia's attempted annexation. And our sanctions that apply to the issue of Crimea will stay in place until ultimately that issue is resolved.